Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Massimiliano Berzot. I'm customer consultant for Elsevier South Europe, and I'm going to have this webinar today with you about the Scopus metrics. I see some attendees are still joining. So first of all, I'm going to explain the slide, because this will be in English, but I use this slide because we collaborate with FECIT for this kind of webinars. So this slide is about how the webinar works, and it's in Spanish, of course. So if somebody of you cannot understand what is written on the slide, let's briefly recap what this seminar is about. So it will take 1 hour and a half. Of course, there will be a couple of sessions. If I remember very well, the session will be in Friday morning about questions and answers. So if you have any question related to a specific topic discussed during the trainings and the webinars, please send an email to recordsoscientificos@fecit.es, and we are going to talk about this during the sessions dedicated to the questions and answers. What else? Of course, you have here the platform to do questions. At the end of the webinar, I'm going to look at the questions if we have enough time, and I will try to reply online to the questions if needed. If not, we are going to take care about the questions in the sessions on Friday. This session will be recorded, so you will get the link to the recorded session soon from FECIT. And remember that FECIT will send you a certificate of attendance in the next weeks. What else? Yeah, there will be some surveys. They are anonymous, and they are not related to the certificate itself. I hope everybody can hear me well. If you have any issue with the audio, please write on the chat or write on the questions. All right, I see that everybody. Okay, I saw that the audio is good. All right. So before to start, I have to share with you a video from FECIT, an introduction to the collaboration between Scopus and FECIT, and I'm going to share this with you right now. So here we are. Here we are. So after the video, we can start a presentation, and let me check what I can share with you. All right. Yes. So Scopus metrics. We are going to talk about the Scopus metrics, and the outline it's the following. So we will start with a brief introduction to Scopus, what is Scopus, and some information and numbers about the platform, then an introduction to metrics. And we are going to talk about the three different families of metrics you can find on Scopus. So journal metrics, article metrics, and author metrics. And then some conclusion and questions and answers if we have enough time to do that. So what is Scopus? Scopus is actually a bibliographic database. So it's an abstract and citation database. As you can see, in Scopus, you can find serial titles, books, conference proceedings, and sources from more than 5,000 publishers. This means more or less 80 million of items. Items are publications, articles, notes, reviews. So the small bricks that are part of this great database. But together with the publications, you can find a lot of other information. You can find profiles, of institutes, or profiles of authors. And you can use this database to do a lot of things. You can use Scopus to identify and analyze the journals to read or to submit your paper. You can track and assess researchers' impact. You can use Scopus to find people and researchers to collaborate with. You can use Scopus as platform tool in order to get information about the impact of the research of a specific institution, of a specific country, of a specific research team. And of course, you can use Scopus as a bibliographic database just to find contents. So a lot of different things. Today, we are going to focus and to go deep in the metrics. So in this case, Scopus is your place for metrics. So it's the place where you can find these really helpful tools to help you with your daily work. So just some numbers on Scopus. You can find a lot of different data. All the items are with full metadata, so you can search around them with all the information related to the publication. You can see the billions of site references, so the thousands of institution profiles, the millions of authors who are in the database. Just to share with you a brief descriptions of the sources of Scopus. In Scopus, you can find mainly journals, conference proceedings, and books. These are the three main categories. And here you can see some numbers about how many journals, how many conference events and conference papers, books, volumes, and so on. Mainly they are divided into 4 different subject areas. And subject areas are physical science, health science, social science, and life science. As you can see, Scopus is really strong also in social science, despite the peer-reviewed journals are not so used by people publishing in social science, this kind of scientific sector. But with books, we did fill the gap. So Scopus is really a generalistic platform with the best publications from the best journals. So you can find very good contents, really helpful and useful for your activity. And it is, of course, is linked to the metrics of Scopus, because all the metrics in Scopus are based on the database, on the raw data of the database. So having this very important and very large database means that you can have metrics you can really use for your activities, for your analysis. Say that, let's move to the research metrics. So I'm going to close this presentation, these slides, and I'm going to share with you another one. Okay, give me just 1 second to go to the other one. All right. Here we are. Okay, so this is related to metrics, so focus on metrics, and of course after that we are going to go online and show you some of the features directly on the database. So we said in Scopus we have 3 different families of metrics, and in Scopus is a source, a place of metrics. So it provides a lot of different metrics. Why you can see here CiteScore and responsible use of metrics. The first, the CiteScore is one of the metrics in Scopus, probably the most important one, but we are going to talk about this. But why responsible use of metrics? Because, you know, metrics are tools. Metrics are a way to do analysis, to evaluate data, and to take decisions. But you cannot, you know, take into consideration just one metric when you have to decide what to do with a specific journal, with a specific article, or with a subscription of a journal, or with everything related to evaluation of science. You have to consider different metrics, and you have to consider the right metrics for the topic you are some way working with. So let's see, let's go forward and let's see what we are going to talk with this presentation. We are going to see the journal metrics in Scopus. So we are going to introduce the CiteScore, one of the metrics. This metric had some changes in the last months, so we are going to go deep in the method and in the reasons of this change and understand why this is really important. The golden rules, the responsible use of metrics, and something about CiteScore metrics in order to decide which journal to read, in order to find new journals, maybe impactful open access journals, and then of course using CiteScore metrics to determine where to submit a paper if you are a researcher. The research metrics, we have a lot of different research metrics, and you can find, you know, I don't want to say 1,000, but you know, a lot, hundreds of metrics. On Scopus, you can find our selection, the Scopus selection of metrics. Sometimes metrics are available on different platforms. Other times they are, you know, related to a specific platform. So today we are going to talk about the Scopus metrics, but of course I'm going to talk about each metrics and giving to you also information if this is available on other platforms or not. So when you are a researcher, when you are a funder, when you are the leader of a research team, a librarian, you can use metrics in your daily work. So if you have to decide, for instance, where to publish your research, you can use the CiteScore, SJR, the SNP, and the journal impact factor to find the best journal. When you want to have your profile as a researcher online, maybe the H-index. The H-index is the best metric to show to the scientific community the impact of your research, of your publications. Or you can use the percentile benchmark. You can use also other metrics like the usage, how many people downloaded your article, how many people captured your article on a platform like Mendeley, for instance, reference managers. Of course, you know, we are in during years where social media are really important, Facebook, Twitter, and so on. So also sharing with the others the mentions on social media could be a way to show to the others the impact of your research. If you are a funder, you can use, of course, the percentiles for journals to understand what are the best journals where the best research is published, or using, in this case, usage, captures, mentions, social media, and so on. So as you can see, a large amount of metrics, and you can use different metrics for different reasons. So the important point here is to understand what are the metrics you can use and use them in a responsible way. Let's start from the journal metrics. So as I said, in Scopus, you have 3 different families of metrics. One is for journals, so journal metrics. Another one is for article metrics. And the third category is about author, author metrics. We are going to start from the journal metrics. And in the journal metrics, the CiteScore is the most important one. So let's start from the CiteScore. A very brief introduction to the CiteScore. CiteScore has been introduced in Scopus on December 2016 as a very transparent alternative to the journal impact factor. When we talk about the journal impact factor, we have to say that this journal impact factor is a very famous metric related to journals, but this is owned by another company and another database. So it's owned by Clarivate and Web of Science bibliographic database. So the journal impact factor is a metric we can find on other platforms, but because it is a trademark of Clarivate, you cannot find the journal impact factor on Scopus. So we decided to introduce an alternative to the journal impact factor, and this was the CiteScore. The CiteScore metrics is a new standard to help to measure the citation, journal citation impact. So it's based on citation. It's calculated on all the active publication in Scopus. So we are going to talk about, 25,000 more or less serial titles, and this means journals, book series, and conference proceedings. And it's an article-based metric, so it's based on number of articles and citations from the publication in Scopus. So 3 C's and 3. It's comprehensive, is based on Scopus data, is current because is including a monthly CiteScore tracker update, and this is available for new serials. And it's clear because you can calculate by yourself if you want. The method is pretty simple, and all the numbers related to the CiteScore are freely available. So you don't need to subscribe Scopus if you want to get the CiteScore. You can find the CiteScore on the Scopus website for free. And this is something that you have to take into account. When we talk about comprehensive based on Scopus and based on all the journals included and indexed in Scopus, this means that you have access to the CiteScore to evaluate more than all the titles indexed in the database. So more than 13,000 titles without the journal impact factor. So this means, because the journal impact factor is a metric that Clarivate is providing just to a small selection of journals. But in our cases, the number of journals with the CiteScore is related to all the peer-reviewed journals and sources in Scopus. This means that we have more journals with this metric available. And as you can see in this slide, 330 journals with a very, very high percentile. We are going to talk about the percentile later, but at this moment, these journals comes from the top 10 percentile. So this means that they have a very strong impact on their research field. These 330, they have CiteScore, but unfortunately, they don't have journal impact factor. So if you need to have a very broad and important metric related to all the percentiles of journal percentiles, the CiteScore is the right metric to use. At the end of the day, the CiteScore metric, it's a family. It consists of 8 different metrics. So we have the CiteScore itself. This is an annual metric, and this is out on June of every year. So on May 2020, we had the CiteScore 2019, and of course on June 2021 we are going to have the CiteScore 2020. We have also the CiteScore tracker. This is monthly. A monthly value, so you can also decide to see how a journal is performing, because it's important to understand if compared with the previous year the journal is going well or going bad. The CiteScore percentile, this is a place to benchmark and to have, you know, the list of the best journals available. The quartiles, in this case, this is based on quartiles, so 4 different quartiles to aggregate different journals from different quality. The CiteScore rank, perfect if you want to rank out the number of serials in all science journal category. The all science journal category is the classification from Scopus. So it's the way we decide to distinguish journals from different categories, different subject fields. Citation count is part of the CiteScore metric. So it's the number of citations, how many citations this journal received during a specific time frame. A document count, number of documents published, and this is the denominator of the CiteScore, but it's another metric if you want to consider this as a metric, as the bibliometrics does. And the percentage of cited, this is also another metric you can consider when you are using journal metrics. In Scopus, we have also other 2 metrics. And these metrics are the source normalized impact per paper, the school SNP, and the Shimago journal rank, the SJR, a Spanish source metric. what about the two of them? You know, CiteScore is based on number of citations and documents, so it's a quantitative metric, and it's good for a specific analysis for specific topics, but could be a little bit tricky if you are using the CiteScore for different analysis. So in this case, and we are going to talk about this in a couple of minutes, if you need more metrics, you can find on Scopus the sort normalized impact per paper and the Shimago journal rank. What's the difference? They are weighted with different system and different methodologies, but we are weighted in order to consider the different citation attitude from different subject fields. As you probably know, if you are a researcher in medicine, the number of citations for articles published on medicine journals are slightly different if compared with the number of citations the articles from, I don't know, mathematics are getting on the journal in the other specific subject field. So in the world of science, not all the subject areas have the same amount of citation. The attitude is some way very, very different. In order to fill this gap, we are weighting the citation based on the specific subject field we are considering. So in this case, these two metrics are really helpful because the source normalizing impact per paper, this is coming from and it's calculated by the CWTS of the University of Leiden, Netherlands. They are, you know, one of the most important centers for bibliometrics. And they measure contextual citation impact by weighting citation based on total number of citation in a specific subject field. So this means that with this metric, you can compare journals from different subject fields without having, you know, without having any issue related to the different citation attitude. More or less the same is about the Shimago journal rank, the SJR. This is developed and annually calculated by Shimago from the University of Granada in Spain. The method is a little bit different, and by the way, this is something that it comes from an external source of Scopus. So we are publishing these metrics, but we don't own the method behind this. But in this case, the method is based on the prestige of journals. So in a nutshell, if I'm getting a citation from Nature, from Science, for a very, very important and impactful journal, this citation, you know, it's some way weighted in a better way instead of a citation I can receive for a journal with a lower impact. So in this case, the SJR is considering the prestige of the journals and the articles who are citing my research. I hope this is clear with you. I'm looking at the platform now, and I see some questions. If we have time, we are going to reply to your questions at the end of the training of the seminar, of course. So CiteScore metrics, it's available for 2019 back 2011. Of course, the CiteScore 2020 will be available on June 2021. You can have on Scopus all the historical data, the rankings, and all the overviews available. You can export everything on Scopus, and we are going to look at this on the platform when we are going online. We also have another family of metrics. We are going to talk about this later on. The article metrics are metrics related to the specific publication. So not to the journal, but to the single publication. They are available on Scopus, of course. You can find a lot of different information. Some of them are from the bibliometric side of the platform of Scopus. So they are related to number of citations, number of documents related to the database. Other ones are the so-called alternative metrics. When we talk about alternative metrics, we talk about something that is not bibliometric, so it's not based on citations and documents, number of documents, or other calculations and methods related to the bibliometry science, but some way they are important at the moment because they show up something related to the impact of the research on different media and different platforms. And we are going to talk about this directly online to show you how to use article metrics and how they are important. But in the meantime, just to recap what you can find on article metrics, we have some bibliometrics and some other alternative metrics related to the specific, to the single article. So we have the number of citation and the percentile, of course. We have one very important metric which is called the field weighted citation impact. We have the citable topics, prominence and percentile. We have the PLUMX metrics. When you see PLUMX, it's about this nice icon you can see on the right bottom with the fancy colors. And the PLUMX metric is the way you can get the alternative metrics. So in PLUMX metrics, you can find the number of citation, but not on Scopus, on different platforms. The usage, how many people downloaded an article, for instance. The capture, how many people saved this article to cite maybe in the future, or to read the article in the future. And this is about, of course, platforms and app and softwares like reference managers, like Mendeley, SSR, Erahan, or other reference managers. The mentions on website like news, blogs, and Reddit, and the social media, of course, like Twitter, Facebook, and other platforms. So as I said, let's back to the CiteScore. As I said, the CiteScore changed some months ago. Why we changed the methodology? We decided to change the methodology for the CiteScore because we decided to consider the feedbacks from the researchers, the experts in bibliometry, and of course the market. And because of that, at the end of 2019, we decided to change the methodology and recalculate the CiteScore retroactively to 2011. This means that at the moment on Scopus, you have just the new CiteScore numbers, the new CiteScore metrics. You cannot find the old one. So we updated everything retroactively, and this in order to have the new CiteScore available when any bias on Scopus.com. So we decided to adjusting the methodology to include peer review publications. So we can say that the CiteScore now is a metric related only to peer review journals, and peer review means quality. Okay, so this is really important for the quality, not only of the journals who are the source of the metric, but for the metric itself. We decide to have a longer citation window, so 4 years instead of 1 year, we decided to include publication from the most recent years. So the publication window was 3 years and now it's 4, giving a symmetrical approach similar to the field-weighted citation impact. And we also decided to display just one decimal value, reducing the false precision. So we think that having more than one decimal values is, it's false precision. It doesn't make any sense. So 4 points to justify the change to the new methodology. And so here you can see the old methodology, the former CiteScore methodology. So the CiteScore 2019 was based on the number of citations in 2019 divided by the publication from the 3 previous years. Okay, so very easy. Numerator, citation in 2019. Denominator, all the publication in the source, in the journal, published in this time window, 2016, 2018. And we decided to change the methodology to the new one. The new one is like this, very simple. So now the new CiteScore 2019 is the citations from all the 4 years at the numerator. Okay, so citations from all the publications in peer review journals in the period from 2016 and 2019, and at the denominator the peer review publication in the source published in the same time window. So citation from 4 years, publication from 4 years. Simple as that. Let's talk briefly about the improvements of the metric. So a fairer comparison between journals, focusing on typically peer-reviewed journals only. As I said, this CiteScore 2019, the new CiteScore, is actually a real quality metric related to the journals. In this case, we were able to excluding influence of non-peer review article types. Okay, so trying to fix all the confusion, and also, all the ways you can game with metrics if you want. So in this case, including peer-reviewed journals and publications means that this metric is really strong. It's robust, is stable for assessment of journals. We can say that with this longer citation window, with this longer document window, we can provide something that is really, really robust and stable in order to evaluate and compare different journals. And of course, the CiteScore is available since year 1 of all the publications, all the sources. So if a new journal is indexing in Scopus and start the publication from year 1, since the first year, this journal can have a CiteScore metric available. So this is really important in order to compare new journals, new often open access journals with other having this metric available. On Scopus, you have the journal platform to compare up to different sources and compare CiteScore metrics for more insights. I'm going to show you this later on when we are going to go online. But just for to recap, the CiteScore is comprehensive, is clear, and is current. So it's based on Scopus, is for all the serial titles, not just journals, can be calculated for portfolio. So this is really important for libraries, for instance. You can calculate the CiteScore of your portfolio, of your institution, if you want. So it's something that can be cumulative for a bunch of different journals. It's clear, it's completely transparent. You can see the numbers, you can calculate by yourself the CiteScore, and of course is updated on monthly basis with the CiteScore tracker, and all the new titles got the new metric from year one. In this table, we can find some differences between different metrics. As you can see, we have all the metrics we can find. Not all the metrics, but the most important: CiteScore, the percentile, citation count, document type, document count, sorry, and percentage of cited metric. And at the bottom we have the source normalized impact per paper and the SJR, the Shimago Journal Rank, with a very brief recap about the measures and the validation, if they are size normalized, if they are subject field normalized, if they communicate magnitude, and the update period. As you can see, the validation in Scopus, it's for all the first 5 metrics. Source normalized impact per paper, SJR, they comes from external sources, so you cannot calculate by yourself the metrics, but you have to consider them just for the amount and the numbers you can see. Size normalized, this means that they are related to the sites, to the number of publication and number of documents. In this case, of course, citation count and document count, they are not size normalized. They just, they cannot be compared if you have, different journals with different number of citation and number of documents. Subject field normalized, of course, CiteScore is not, because it's based on number of citation per publications. But source normalized impact per paper and SJR, as I said, they are calculated weighting the numbers from different subject fields, and communicates magnitude. Of course, the CiteScore is communicating magnitude. If you have a CiteScore, I don't know, 100, of course, this means that this journal is doing very well, is super quality journal. If you have a CiteScore about 1, probably this means that this journal is a little bit lower in the rankings. But when you are looking at the source normalized impact per paper, the SJR, they are calculated of very small numbers, so they are not communicating magnitude. And about the update frequency, the CiteScore and all the other ones are annually and monthly for the CiteScore tracker metrics updated. Same for source normalized impact per paper, SJR, they are communicated on annual basis. So key takeaways about the CiteScore: the methodology has changed. If this is the first time you heard about the CiteScore, this is not really important with you. On Scopus, you can find all the informations related to the new CiteScore, so no need to compare this with the old methodology. If you are an expert in metrics and in bibliometrics, of course, you probably remember the old methodology. This methodology, the old one, is no more available on Scopus, but we decide to show you some information in order to compare the two different methodologies. So just to recap, the CiteScore, the new CiteScore is including peer review publication, has a longer citation window, has a longer and most recent publication window, 4 years instead of 3, and display just one decimal value. Okay, the CiteScore metrics are comprehensive, current, clear, and free, of course, and you have to use the relevant metrics on case-by-case basis. It depends what you want to get from the metrics, what kind of analysis you are going to do. So use them in a responsible way. Try to have a qualitative and quantitative input, and of course, always use more than one metric for quantitative assessments. So this is really important. Here are some sources of information where you can get updated about Scopus and all the resources from Scopus. If I have to be honest, the blog, Scopus blog, is amazing. Is a place where I ever get to be updated and to get news about the platform. The guys who are working on the blog scopus.com, they are so smart. A lot of different information, a lot of articles related to how to use Scopus and everything about Scopus to help you with your daily work. So I really recommend to get there and to subscribe the blog, the Scopus blog. But you can find different sources for different platforms. So Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, everything. We are on the main social media. Say that, let's go online. Let me check what time is it. It's 10 to 11, so we still have 40 minutes to go online, look at the metrics directly on Scopus, and see how to work with the metrics, and if we have enough time also to reply to some questions. So let's stop here the presentation. Let's close this. Bear with me, just a couple of seconds to manage again this. Let's move to the browser. I'm going to use Chrome, but Scopus is available for all the different browsers. So let's go online. So I hope you can see my screen. I'm also going to trying to enlarge a little bit, the text. So this is the main page of Scopus. Probably you already know how Scopus is. So this is the document search part. Here, all the information about Scopus, different language, Chinese, Japanese, Russian, and so on, the customer service. Here you can find your profile. I recommend you to log in, to register and log in Scopus ever, because I know that you can have access to Scopus from your institution. Now at the moment, probably a lot of you are working remotely, but you still have access to the proxy server or the IP range of your institution. But I really recommend you to create your own profile and to log in Scopus in order to save all the searches, to save the alerts, to save all the activities you do on the database. So where to start? We are going to talk about the journal metrics, the article metrics, at the end about the author metrics. So Journal metrics means sources, okay? And sources are here. Let me check if I can zoom in. Let me check with the two different, yes, fortunately, okay, good. Okay, because I have two screens, so it's not easy. I'm not so good with two screens and how to deal with that. So here, as you can see, we have search, we have searches, list, civil, quick text, and other stuff, but we are going to start here. So let's click on sources. All right, so sources, just a first look at the page, and then we are going to zoom in order to show you what you can find here. On the sources, you can find all the journals, all the conference proceedings, all the books indexed in Scopus. You have the list of everything, and you can search for them, and you can filters, and you can find all the information about the metrics related to journals. So you can search for titles, for instance, here. Let me zoom in. Here, you can search for title, you can search for subject field, you can search for publisher, you can search for ESSN. This is a unique code for journals. So sometimes journals, they can change name, sometimes they can simply stop publishing. Sometimes they have names that are quite similar. ESSN is the best way to be sure you can find the right journal. So in this case, we are going to search by title, for instance, and here you can enter the title. The nice thing is here you can get suggestions. So if I'm simply writing down Lancet, for instance, you can immediately see that the platform is suggesting all the journals available with the Lancet keyword in the title. Okay, so very nice help from the platform, from the algorithms to help you with the search. And then you have to click here on Find Sources. So very easy. And then what you can find here. Here you can find the results, of course. So all the journals indexed in Scopus. There are a lot, of course. As you can see here, the number of results. We are going to talk about journals, conference proceedings, and books. And you can decide to apply some filters. So, for instance, let's try to do something related, for instance, I don't know, what is better to, let's have this kind of selection and apply the filters on the broad selection. So here with the options, you can display just the open access journals. So you can decide to have the results just related to journals who are publishing open access publications. In this case, you can simply click on the link. Then you can also start, limiting the results, deciding to get just journals with the minimum number of citations or a minimum number of documents. This means that you want to look at just journals with a specific amount of citations or publications. It's up to you. If no minimum selected, this means that you want to start with the broadest results. You can use the CiteScore highest quartile. As I said, the CiteScore is available on Scopus and it's providing a metric to all the journals. So this means that all the journals on Scopus they have a CiteScore, and all the CiteScore are used to do the rankings between journals. This means that you can have the rankings of journals related to specific subject fields. And in this case, they are divided into 4 different quartiles. So the first quartile, let me start from the top 10%. Top 10% is the top. So all the journals in the highest category, okay? So just the top journals. And in this case, you can decide to have only the top journals, or you could take the decision to have just the journals in the 25th percent, the higher 25th percent of the rankings, or decide to have also the second, the third, and the fourth quartile. The fourth quartile, of course, is with the ones with the lowest CiteScore. Remember, this doesn't mean that the ones with the lowest CiteScore are the less qualitative journals, because remember, the CiteScore is a quantitative metric. So if in a specific subject field, number of citations and the attitude of citing other articles is related to small numbers, also the high quality journals, they have a very small CiteScore metrics if compared with other subject fields where the citation attitude is with the highest numbers of citations. So it's not about quality, it's about the CiteScore itself, which is used to provide a quantitative and the magnitude of citations and documents publications, okay? And here, very important, the source type. If you are just interested in journals, it's better to select the journals. Or if you want to get just book series, then let's do it, or conference proceedings, you can decide, or trade publications. Trade publications are journals published by sometimes from corporates. They are peer-reviewed journals, so they are part of the databases, and in some cases they are very important for specific subject fields. So if you want to search and distinguish the source type, you can do it. Let's do something related just to journals, for instance, and let's take all the journals from all the quartiles. Let's have these with all the journals, not just the display open access journals, but then let's select and search just for a specific subject field. Here we can decide a different subject fields. So journals are related to the different subject fields and the different sub-subject fields. So in this case, I want to show you, let me check. Let's take just organic chemistry and apply. As you can see now, let me zoom in, we have just 234 results. So this means that in Scopus, you can find this amount of journal related to all the publication from the source indexed in the database related to the subject field of organic chemistry. Do we want to have just journals? Let's exclude all the other and apply. In this case, we have 195 results. So, and you can see here, let me zoom in, that we have this limitation saved. So we know that this result is related to a specific subject field. And in this case, just a journal, okay? And we can clear filters if we need. What we can find here, we can find a lot of different information. So you can see the results, you can sort the results considering different informations and different metrics. So the first on top is the Progress in Polymer Science. This journal is it has a very high CiteScore, 41.1. And as you can see, all the results are sorted by CiteScore, because the arrow here, let me zoom in, the arrow is orange. So we decide to sort everything considering the CiteScore. What if I want to consider maybe another metric? I could, for instance, use the source normalized impact per paper or the SJR in order to sort different journals. Or I could use the percentage of cited or number of documents of all the other metrics I have available. And of course, here on the right, you can see the publisher. This means that you can also sort the journals considering the publisher. So as you can see in a very nice table, you can find with one shot all the most important information about the journal: the CiteScore, the percentile, the citations, the documents, percentage of cited, just in one screen. Okay, this is super nice. So of course, be on top of the rankings means that this journal, Progress in Polymer Science, is a nice journal to subscribe if you are a librarian, or to submit your paper if you are a researcher in chemistry, organic chemistry. But of course, let's have a look to this title. And if you click on the title, you land on the journal page. Journal page is where you can find more information and more metrics about the journal. So in this case, Progress in Polymer Science, here you can find the title, the coverage in Scopus, the publisher, ESSN. This is a journal related to more than one subject area. So it's related to chemistry, organic chemistry, but also material science, with two different subject fields: polymers and plastics, and ceramics and composites. Also material chemistry, so a third subject category, sub-subject category. And it's also related to another subject area, physics and astronomy, but with the sub-subject field, surface and interface. As you can see, journals, they have a lot of publications or are not in a specific subject fields, but sometimes they are really, multidisciplinary. So this means that you can find different publication in different subject fields. But we search for this journal starting from organic chemistry. So let's maintain this main subject category for this journal. Here you can see the three metrics. As you can see, the magnitude 41, it's communicating the magnitude instead of the SJR and SNP. And by the way, having SJR 6.2 and SNP 6.7 means you are a very strong journal. Okay, and here the method. Let me zoom in. The CiteScore 2019 with the method: number of citations for the 4 years, number of documents for the 4 years. And here you can decide to see also the CiteScore from other years. You can see the tracker 2020. This is how this journal is performing, calculated on October. Last update is October. So of course, in October, you still have, let me think about, you have July, August, September, October. So the first 4 months, of the year. And the first 4 months of course, a quarter, not more than 1 quarter, but it's still not enough. But because the symmetry between number of citation and number of documents, you can see this title at the moment is performing not so well. So this could be, something to take into account for the future. but who knows, probably in the next months, number of citations will improve. I just got a message about you cannot hear me. Let me check. I see the audio is good. Okay, good. You know, I'm moving myself. Sometimes it can happen that, you know, the microphone is not performing well. So thanks for this. And of course, it's also related to internet. So we are now slaves of the internet speed. So if you have, you know, a very bad connection, probably you are out of the world. This sucks, but what we have to do, you know, bad and difficult times, we have to say. So let's continue. Thanks for your feedback, by the way. So the CiteScore tracker is good to evaluate. How the journal is performing month by month. And here you can find the rankings. So as I said, this journal is part of different categories, subject fields. So as you can see, is the first for all of them. So is the first in organic chemistry, the first of 183, the first of 154 for polymers and plastics, the first of material science, and just the second for material chemistry. But the first also in physics and astronomy. This is a top journal, and you can get all this information from Scopus very easily. Okay. What else? Here we have the CiteScore rank and trends. Very easy to see how this journal performed in the past. So you can see the list. So this is the first, of course, but then you can also easily look at all the other, and easily you can immediately get to the others and get the information related to the others, second, third, fourth, and so on. And of course, for each one, you have immediately CiteScore, the percentile here, and the trend. So as you can see, this journal was stronger in 2015, but is recovering. So on 2018 was the end of small numbers, but then it started to get better on 2019. So we'll see. You know, journals are like humans. They have good times and bad times. And of course, you can evaluate these as a good or a bad things. It's up to you. They are just numbers. The important point is the view of who is using the numbers themselves. Here you can see the Scopus content coverage. So what are the documents indexed in Scopus related to this journal? Okay, so another nice thing to look at. Last thing about journals is these compare sources. Let me zoom out and then zoom in. In all the web pages related to sources, you have these compare sources on the right here. And this is the platform I talked about to compare and to benchmark different journals. If you click on this, you can use this platform to compare up to 10 different sources. This is a great platform to do benchmarks, evaluations from different titles. Let's try to be, you know, short because it's easy to use and you can play with it. So no need to spend too much time about this. Let's having just another one. We can search for it. The tetrahedron, I don't remember what's the it should help me with some suggestions. Maybe it's TH, or let's keep it simple, chemistry. Chemistry, let's see. Yeah. So let's take another strong, and let's use this in order to get another strong journal. Let's take this monster, Chemical Society Reviews, and let's compare just the two journals, okay? So here you can compare up to 10 different journals immediately, considering the CiteScore, as you can see. And you can immediately see the different values year by year. You can decide to compare the two journals or the more journals you want by SJR, by SNP, by citations by here, documents by here, percentage of not cited documents, and percentage of reviews articles by here. So different views and different metrics to compare. The nicest thing you can see is if we consider a CiteScore by year, you can see that the Chemical Society Review here, the Chemistry Society Review is performing very well if compared with the other one. But if you look at the not the SJR, but the SNP, you can see here that in the past, actually, progress in polymer science was performing better if you considered just the source normalized impact per paper. As you can see, metrics are different, and metrics can also help you to start with having questions about the quality of journals and decisions related to the sources. So remember, considering different metrics to evaluate journals or doing other analysis. This is just a platform, but the important view is your view. Okay, so remember that metrics can show different numbers sometimes, and this could be something very important in order to do assessment and evaluate things. That's it about journals. So let's move to something related to the articles. How to do that? But let's keep it simple, of course. Let's take one article from this journal. How to do that? Let's move to the coverage, and let's get one of the most cited article in 2011 from this journal. Here we are. I decided to get just articles from 2018. Let's take this, the most important journal considering citations. Okay. So we land on the article page. This is the article page in Scopus. It's related to the article, and here we can find the second family of metrics in Scopus, the article metrics. We don't need to see the article page. We have other seminars related to that, but let's get focused about the metrics here. And to see better all the metrics, better is to click here in the right corner, view all metrics, okay? And we will have the full page about metric details of this article. So as I said, article metrics are distinguished in two different categories, bibliometrics and alternative metrics. The bibliometrics are related to number of citations here, and citation benchmarking, so the percentiles, and the field-weighted citation impact. Very, very short. This is the way you can look at the date range. So you can decide to have this number of citation also for wider windows. You can decide to include all the citation or exclude the self-citations from authors, or exclude the citation from books. Why that? Because usually we are considering these metrics during evaluation exercises, and sometimes the government, the university is asking for metrics without self-citations or without citations from books. So it's just to give you a different way to calculate the metric itself. So this article has been published, of course, in 2018. So it has 60 citations and 0 citation, of course, in 2017, because it was published on this year, and year by year is getting more and more citations. So very nice, very nice result. Here you can see the percentile shows how citations received by the document, but compared with the average for similar documents. Average for similar. This means that this article has been compared with other articles in the same subject fields for the same frame time, okay? Time frame, sorry. So this means that this is the 99th percentile. This means this is a top article. Very, very important, on top of all the other publications in the same field in the same time. Field-weighted citation impact is another metric related to the journal articles, and the field-weighted citation impact shows how well this document is cited when compared to similar documents. So in this case, a value greater than 1 means that the document is more cited than expected, is, you know, above the average. So if my article has 1.1, this means that I'm getting more citations compared to the other articles in the same subject field, in the same field, and in the same time frame. So in this case, having 10.45, this is amazing. This means that this is getting more than 10 times more citations compared with other articles related to the same time frame and to the same subject fields. Amazing. So these are bibliometrics based on number of citations and documents. And these are the second category related to the Plumix metrics, or alternative metrics based on citations, usage, captures, mentions, and social media. As you can see, they are still growing because the bibliometrics are so strong in the science environment that, of course, when you have to cite a document, you think immediately to cite the document in the publication or new publications and not on Twitter. But I don't know, maybe in the future, Twitter will be the best place where you can evaluate and assess the importance of a publication. But at the moment, this can give to you more information, more insights about the publication itself. So this could be something nice to see. Some cases you also have the link here to see what are the tweets or to see what are the Mendeley readers. In this case, there is no link, so no way to get this. Okay. This is probably about details. You have to land on another page of Plumix. Let me check. Maybe here you can look at the mentions. Yes, yes, of course. Let's accept the cookies, and as you can see, this is nice because you can see all the tweets. So LabRat is saying, oh great, this is great. You know, citations are not good or bad, are simply citations. With tweets you can read what the people think about it. So this can be nice, very nice, in order to have an idea about the impact of a specific article. Say that, let's have the last minutes related to the third family of metrics in Scopus, and this is about authors. So let's get back to the main page, and here with search, let's get to the author search. H-index is the main metric to evaluate authors, and this is available on the authors page. Okay, so let's search for I don't know. Let's take or maybe we could use nice thing when you are looking for an author, you have some examples and you completely forget about the names. Let's do the following. You can search for names, of course. Yes, let's use an Italian one. I'm sorry, you know, I'm Italian, so I remember easily great scientists from my country. It's not about, you know, being proud of your country. It's just that my memory is better with Italian researchers. So let's take one of the most important researchers at the moment, Alberto Mantovani on Scopus. As you can see, we have thousands of publications from this scientist, and it's really, really important also during these hard times, because is also someone who is working on the pandemic. So in the author page, and this is something that you can find better on seminars related to authors, not here, but on the author page you can find the CiteScore, not CiteScore, sorry, the H-index here. So this is the metric we are going to look at in the next minutes, and is the most important metric for evaluate authors. As you can see, also for authors, you have other metrics. One is the number of documents. Of course, the number of published documents is important to compare authors, and also number of citation can be a very important information to evaluate authors. But in my opinion, the H-index is probably the best way to compare and to benchmark authors on the platform. So let's click on H-index graph, and here we can describe how this is calculated, the methodology, and the importance of this metric. The H-index is a metric created by Hirsch. This researcher decide to create a very flexible and very easy metric to evaluate one author, or why not a bunch of authors, a team. So you can also use the H-index to evaluate a team or an institution, if you consider the institution as, you know, a group of authors. So a university actually is a group of different authors. So you can use also the H-index to evaluate institutions. What's the main message here? H-index is for authors. Impact factor, CiteScore, and other journal metrics are just for journals. In the past, actually, also at the moment, sometimes journal metrics are used to evaluate the impact of the research of authors. This is not completely correct. On the other hand, of course, if you are doing an assessment of researchers, maybe this could be one of the metrics you have to take into account. But remember, you can have to consider ever more than one, also if you are using quantitative metrics, bibliometrics, okay? So in this case, H-index is to evaluate authors, not for journals, not for articles. And the calculation of the H-index is the number of publications, the H number of publication with at least H citations, okay, of an author. So in this case, the H-index of Professor Alberto Mantovani is 169 because he published 169 documents as author with at least 169 citations each. So very easy. You can see here the calculation in the graph, number of documents compared with the number of citation, and the 169 is here where the star is, okay? As I said, this is flexible. Why flexible? Because of course you can, first of all, you can exclude self-citation. If Professor Mantovani cited another article from himself, this can be excluded. Can exclude citation from books, and you can update the graph, or, and this is flexibility, you can decide to consider a specific time window. So in this case, this is about the full production, the full publication list from Alberto Mantovani, but we could take into account maybe a shorter time frame. So let's say we don't want to consider all the years of publications, but maybe just, you know, the last 5. So the last 5 means 2020, 19, 18, 17, 16. So let's start from 16. Just the last 5 years. In this case, as you can see, the number is different, is 30. Still very strong, but different. So you can use the H-index to evaluate authors also during different periods. And you can use this platform to do all the calculations. Here on the left, you have the list of documents. And as you can see, this article got at least 30 citations. That's why the H-index is 30. What if this article is getting 1 citation more? Because of course the H-index can change. So if this article is getting 1 citation more, the H-index will be still 30 because this is the 31st document with still 30 citations. But with 2 more, this will be the new CiteScore 31 because Professor Mantovani published 31 articles with at least 31 citations. So very easy. And of course, here you can also use this in order to compare and to get more information related to number of citations, to the documents by source, by type, by year, by subject, and all the co-authors from Professor Mantovani. Citations are really, really important, also because with one shot, you can see how the number of citations improved year by year. So this is so important if you want to assess the impact of the research of one scientist. Year by year, these researchers start to publish impactful, very impactful publications related to his field, and he got more and more citation year by year, improving the H-index year by year. So this was about H-index, and the third family of metrics available on Scopus. I have to say, let me check. Yeah, we are, 5 minutes, 5 minutes after the scheduled end of the seminar. Let's briefly look at the questions we have online. Okay, let me check questions. Some of them have been answered during the presentation. Let me check. Okay, I think we have some of interesting questions. I will prefer to use during a Friday seminar, because some of them are nice to share with not just with you, but with all the other attendees, and some of them are specific, and I need to look at them in a second time. So we are going to close the seminar right now. Remember that I have all your questions here on the screen. So if the questions won't be answered on Friday, I'm going to reply to one-on-one with you via email, of course. Thank you very much for your participation, for your attention. I hope everything was clear. If you have any other need or question, please get in touch with us through all the links I share with you. And so take care, stay safe, and talk to you soon. Bye bye.